Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Caffeine and Sensu Beans podcast. This is One Kick Man and I am joined by Chi Ween. Chi Ween, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just
Good.
uh just chilling, just winding down, going into the very last week of my work in regards to teaching, and I'm excited about that. It's been a long overdue break. You know, when
Mhm.
when you're a teacher, yes, you have some days off and you would do have the summer off, but man, this spring semester is like it's a long stretch, dog,
Mm. I know,
without
huh?
any break.
There are not many holidays in this thing.
After spring break, it's like
It's yeah, it's
very
it's really a
minimal.
sprint to the end.
Pretty much. And
Right.
I'm kind of glad that we're almost done, dude. But it's gonna be crazy when we start up again, and what the hell that's gonna look like. But
I know.
other than uh, I shared with you earlier that we finally have a living room. I haven't
Right.
had a living room in freaking years, dude. I haven't. My mom says that we had a living room when I was younger, but I don't really believe that because I don't know. I don't remember. I don't really feel like I have really that many memories of me having a living room.
Well, the living room was the living room that's always been there, right? At least that's the one I
Yeah.
remember. But like
Uh,
you turned that into a room.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like now you
No, this
have a
th-
legitimate living
th-
room.
legitimate, dude. My room has always just been, or this room has always just been a makeshift room, and it's gone through so many different transformations. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, it's been so. I remember like when I was younger, and I was in college. I was like, I want like a big bed, but I don't want to buy a big bed, so I'm gonna just put two big mattresses on the floor, and
Ooh.
that'll be my big bed. I'm like, that was comfortable. When you're in the middle,
Yeah, that's just
yeah, that was
clean.
cool. That was
Hey,
clean.
look into the Alaskan King, dude. Throw that bad boy
Yeah.
in there. Throw that bad boy in there. That thing is little,
Alaskan.
dog. That thing
That's
is
like the one that like
huge.
Shaq lives in, no? Like,
Yeah,
it's
that
like
thing is
Shaq is like,
huge, bro.
I don't
Uh,
understand why you would need a bed that big. But don't you want one?
I kind of do, cause I don't know. I feel like it would be super comfortable, and it's like you basically have to yell like to the other side to, you know, if your children or your spouses or your partner is sleeping with you and you're like, hello, because they're so
Uh-huh.
far away, because it's
Uh-huh.
so freaking big. It wouldn't fit in the room I'm in right now. That's how big it is. Uh, or if it did, it would cover the whole thing. Uh,
Yeah, that was it's
thing
just
is,
not
yeah, it's
functional.
little, but yeah, yeah, you got some exciting summer plans.
We're planning to go to like to leave the country, so that'll be interesting. First time traveling with children.
Yep.
Um, I was scared. I was kind of like scared at first because I'm like, ah, God, I don't want to be that guy, like on the plane with just like the baby screaming, but I'm
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
that guy. So it's just,
Well, I
I've kind
mean,
of accepted it, and it is what it is.
fuck it, dude.
But
It's a rite of passage. Like everyone's got to go through it. You know, it's inevitable. I think it's gonna happen with us if we do end up like traveling next year. So yeah, it's inevitable, dude. And you'll be fine. For I think you'll be
yeah,
fine.
how are you, man?
Yeah. Doing well. Let's see. Yeah, just getting adjusted to dad life. And continuing to watch my little one grow. She's getting bigger and taller and more like filling out, so
Hmm.
it's been good. It's been a good process. Oh, and one thing I wanted to tell you before I forget, and this is super random, but are you into like streetwear?
Yeah.
Okay, because if you ever go to Japan, um
Hmm.
they have like pretty cool streetwear, and there's this place in Harajuku, which is in Tokyo. And
Hmm.
they have this store where it's all like Japanese indie streetwear. And it when I went, it looked really cool, but I was like, I wasn't really trying to buy any of this stuff. But yeah, if you ever go, check it out. I think you might actually like it. It's got that like super indie vibe. Like, it's not these big, obviously it's Japanese, so it's not like these big brands, but it's like you can only get it at that store, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, man, I
but
like that. I like that type of. I mean, I like my in styles. Like, I mean, like fashion is like one of my like passions. So it's just, I like dressing.
yeah,
I like to have unique pieces that nobody has. So
and I
that's
think
kind
yeah,
of interesting.
exactly. So if you go to like a different country and you bring back something just from there, like that's
Hmm.
kind of cool, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but yeah, man, no, I had to tell you that because if not, I was gonna forget, and then it was like, then it's gonna be eating at me. So, yeah, remember that Harajuku, Japan, Tokyo.
All right.
Um, so today we were gonna discuss the ancillary characters, the characters that maybe people don't. Is it safe to say they don't care much for, or at least in relation to the main characters, right? The side characters I'm referring to.
Yeah, I mean, they're side characters. I mean, I don't know if they don't care about them. They just don't get it that much love in regards to storyline. They're kind of always like just there to throw in a joke. They're kind of like the comedic relief many of the times. Yeah, so but I think that the fans like them. I mean, at least I know that I like them. I know that I
Mhm.
I've enjoyed most of the ones that we're gonna probably discuss today, and like throughout the movies that we saw. I mean, they don't add much to the plot, but
No.
except maybe for one that I'm gonna bring up that
Okay.
he kind of moved the plot, but I don't know. I guess it's debatable. I mean,
It
he
feels
had a role. He had a role. He had a role in within the plot, but yeah, that was only in one film.
so.
So,
All right. Let's let's get right to it. Like, who is the side character that you enjoy the most? And like, side characters can mean something to different people. So for instance, we can consider Yamcha a side character at this point, even though in early Dragon Ball he wasn't that. Like, he, at least he didn't feel like that. He had a more prominent role, but now he's just been relegated to not even that. Like, he'll barely make it onto the show. Um but
yeah, like
like,
they just clown that man. So
yeah, exactly.
I think he's a side character. When I think about him, he just like I mean, I don't even know why he's in it anymore. Like, I
Yeah,
think
right.
like that's kind of my thing. Is like, I don't understand who is asking for to see more Yamcha. I would like to meet somebody that's like Yamcha's my guy. Because
Yeah.
I've met some people that are like, yeah, I love Krillin or I love Piccolo and all this other stuff, but like with Yamcha, I don't think I've ever met anybody that's like, yeah, that's my guy.
I think he's legitimately the only character who has zero fans. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, there isn't one thing uh that I don't know, like, he's just super at this point, he's so forgettable, right? And I think um well, what I was trying to I use Yamcha as an example as to, like, some people might not consider him a side character because he had such a prominent role in Dragon Ball, or he had a more prominent role. But I mean, let's be honest, like, he is a side character, at least at this point.
Well,
So
he's a side character in Dragon Ball Z and in Super, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean,
It
in
can be
Super, dude,
argued that
when
he
does he
is
come out? Like, I'm trying to remember.
in Super. He had the biggest episode that I think that he was involved in was the baseball episode,
Yeah, see, dude, come
and
on.
and that was and that's about it, right? Like he was trying to show
You're
out.
right. You're right. The baseball one.
He was trying to
He was
it
trying to
big,
show
trying to
off. Yeah,
show
yeah.
up Vegeta and throwing in the knuckleballs, and
Hmm.
he had his
Right.
baseball moment. But then again, I don't know because haven't really seen too much of Dragon Ball. So, wait, was he like a baseball player or something? Or
No, he is like a kung fu martial artist.
so
He,
why is he a
yeah.
baseball player? Like, why is
Well,
it that
because
his thing?
baseball in Japan is huge. So,
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, they're
but
hella good. Always they play when I
yeah,
don't understand why Yamcha is like the beast, the
I
animal in
don't know why
baseball.
they went that route. I guess
Okay, so we don't know.
no, I guess they had to give him some type of, like, something that he excels at. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's
Yeah.
so far behind in everything else to everyone else.
Mhm.
Um, so they had to give him that. But I mean, who's your favorite side character? Like, just thinking out loud, who do you think is.
I think it's between two for me. I
Mhm.
would say, and so both the ones that are top for me is Hercule or Mr. Satan,
Mhm.
um, or the other one is Yajirobe. I think
Hell
both
yeah.
of them are my favorites because I think that every time that they showed up in the movies, and I would even say even in the show, like I think that they just always knock it out of the park. Like
Yeah.
they're always just it, it's well Yajirobe. The reason that I like about him is that he sticks to his lane. You know, like he
For
knows
sure.
that he can't keep up, and he acts like he can. You know, like he
Right.
like try to show like he's
Oh,
like
he's
yeah,
got
dude,
that
I got
blade on him, and just in case
Yes.
anyone wants to try him.
Yeah. And I'm sure that like if he comes up against like a wolf or like a dinosaur, like
Yeah,
he'll,
right.
you know,
A pedestrian.
like
Yeah.
a pedestrian, I'm sure Jajirobe would like if I showed up against him, I'm sure he would like whoop my ass.
Right.
But like, like if like Frieza comes down and
He's
like
getting
is trying to
killed,
pick a
dude. One
fight with
shot.
with him, is just like yeah, Jajirobe's done so.
Yeah, dude.
Like my favorite moment from him, I think in the movie was probably like during the Cooler movie where
Uh-huh.
he like throws the whole bag of sensu beans at Gohan. It's like, dude, what are you
Dude,
why
why
are
do
you
we do
throwing
that?
the whole
Like they
bag?
could have fallen
Why
off, and that is a little drop. Like if Gohan
yeah.
missed, like
Yeah. So he's just
we could
hella
have
funny to
handled
me.
them.
Like he just does shit like that where he's just like he is so like
He's so
I don't want to say he's
extra,
like
dude. Like,
I don't know if he's like dismissive, but like he just keeps the facade and he's just true to
yeah,
who he is,
exactly.
So I love that about him. So I also say he's up there for me. And then Hercule to me is just he's just a again another facade, and
Oh, he's a big
he
facade.
just
Yeah.
commits to the role to like the 200%. Like he is just so he's just so funny to me. Like I still like I always find that like I've always found it funny like in that in Bio Broly where he just keeps calling Android 18 and the other ones his disciples. And
Yeah.
like he just keeps calling them his disciples. And I just find that so funny that like he just wants to keep the act going, and like they both, but him mostly he will try to get out of the fight,
Oh,
like
for sure.
he will get out of the fight and will
Yeah,
always come out on top.
exactly. Nah, he's hilarious, dude. What I like is how I would always get the Dragon Ball Z games,
Mhm.
growing up. And so the Budokai games, I get all of them. And so I
Yeah.
remember my sister, like I would unlock all the characters. My sister would always pick Hercule. And I'm like, sis, like you could pick any other character. Like I have all of them. And you're picking the dude with the backpack and that throws rocks. Like she'd always pick him. And you know who else she'd pick? She'd pick Raccoon too. And I'll never forget, he used to power up like this. I know people can't see, but he used to do like one of these. And I
He's like
was
a little dance. Yeah.
yeah, he would do a little dance. And
Mhm.
I remember my brother, he would always bring that up, and he would get furious when he would lose to Raccoon in the games because he's powering up like that.
Mhm.
Uh, but anyways, yeah, Hercule, he's hilarious, dude. They do such a good job with him. He feels like the most prominent side character because you know, but his role is so beautifully designed. It's so well executed. He's this public persona who's literally he's faked it till he's made it. And
Mhm.
uh there's something about that that's just so funny, that's so entertaining, and he's
He's just
able
such a
to
survivalist. He's
yeah,
just such a
exactly, dude.
survivalist.
Yeah, like he just he's gonna like the world's coming to an end, he's gonna survive somehow, one way or another. He's in a
Mhm.
terrible predicament, he's somehow gonna survive. And he always comes out looking like the stud, like he was the one who finished it. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
that with,
Mhm.
with Cell. um
He was like that
and
with the one with the one with Gohan. What was the one with BoJack? Remember they had a
With
tournament
Bojack.
and
Yep.
like
Yep.
and
The
then like
tournament. Yeah.
they destroy like the satellite watching it and he
Yeah.
kills them. Yeah,
Exactly.
you know. And like he's like they're like telling like I find it like they were just like chanting like his name to go out there and like
Hercule. I
yeah
mean,
to go do his thing.
yeah. He's hilarious, dude. He's like the the. Yeah, he's hilarious. My personal favorite is Yajirobe. I think him and Hercule, they have a lot of commonalities. Um, the one thing that is different is that one, Hercule's actually shredded, like he looks like a beast, and like which is crazy, right? and and Yajirobe just does not. But when push comes to shove, like Yajirobe 99.9% of the time won't fight, but there's like a 0.01% chance that he'll try to do something in a
Yeah.
fight, you know?
Mm.
And so like if we think about it, he's the reason why we talked about this in an earlier episode, but he's really the reason why the whole Dragon Ball story was able to continue because
Yeah.
he went out and he cut that tail. Vegeta's tail.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was involved, you know what
He
I'm saying?
was, dude. And what I love, like in that movie, the first BoJack movie, when he makes his appearance, his cameo, the way he's like, "Hey, kid," and he's got the one leg up on the stool. I don't know, and the arm hanging on it, like resting on it. And
Yeah, like he's like judgment, like it's
yeah,
judgment day.
like and he's just he if you like, it's like I don't know, he's a complete enigma. I mean, he's a conundrum because it's dude, you don't look intimidating, but he's got like the whole outfit, you know, he's got a sword on him, and like he walks around with it too, like
Yeah.
you know he's not slicing anyone, right? He doesn't have to take that. He could wear regular civilian clothes. But
like every morning he wakes up and
he puts
like,
that on. Yeah.
he puts that
Yeah, dude, and he straps up the blade. And so and his his role is also pretty well defined, at least in earlier Dragon Ball. I mean, he made that appearance in Super. I'm sure he didn't have a beard. And
yeah, he had a
like,
beard, and I was actually genuinely excited to see him because I was like, "Oh wow, we haven't seen him in heck long." Like
for real,
and his appearance was just so like him that like it just
exactly.
It was so him. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
it
of
felt
course
vintage.
he survived.
Right.
Of course,
of course he did.
Of course you're
like
down
Goku's
here.
dead, but you're alive.
But you're alive.
Like, how did that? But that's Yajirobe, bro.
That's
He's
your
gonna
boy.
survive.
That's the boy, man. He's a survivalist, you know.
Yeah.
So he just has that about him but you know what it is that I think adds to his like it like you mentioned it and it was like the leg on the stool. Like every time we see him, he's in like this like I don't want to say a menacing pose, but he's in a pose that's like, you know, it's almost like
it oozes confidence. Like when you see him,
oozes confidence. Yeah.
it just
when
like
Super, he came in through like a motorcycle. I think.
Yeah, of course.
Like, he came in a motorcycle, and he like looks at Trunk like, "Get on."
Yeah, you see me. Yeah,
you see me.
Right? And like he hasn't defeated one villain in his whole life. I mean, you could argue Vegeta, but he always has like just this look about him where he feels like he's that dude, and you're almost like, damn, you know what? Like you're obviously in denial, but I can respect it, dude. I can respect that type of confidence, even though it fades really quickly when it's time to actually fight. But and then they kind of did a good job also, and throughout the movies we saw this. Whenever he made an appearance, he had a singular role, and that was to provide sensu beans. Yeah. But he was going to execute that.
They gave him a task.
Yeah,
they gave
exactly.
him a task, and he executed the task.
Exactly.
You can't ask more of a side character.
Yeah, and that's what a side character is, right? Like they're on the sidelines, They're not going to do anything vicious, crazy, but they're going to provide some help.
Mm,
Um, you got other ones like Bulma, right? Bulma's an
mm,
interesting one because like um, you have mm, different tiers of side characters. Bulma feels like she's important to the series. I mean, but we don't see her as often. You know, like Yajirobe, we like him. He's hilarious.
mm.
But let's be honest, if my guy fell off the series, it wouldn't feel like damn.
Which he did
He
though,
did,
and that's
right?
why. And I think that that's why his appearance in Super was like, at least
It
when
was
I saw
refreshing.
it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, this is my guy. I haven't seen him in hella long. Like it's
Right.
been years, since you've seen the Yajirobe,
Right. But
because
he's not like
it's
tied to
kind
the
of
plot. It doesn't feel like it.
yeah.
Or
Mm.
like Bulma, it kind of does. I don't know. How do you feel about her?
I think so. I like Bulma. Bulma is my favorite. Like, I would say like a female character in the show.
Mm,
It's between her and 18.
yeah.
And they're both different characters, right? So like it's
Oh, for sure.
uh, so 18 is more of a badass, but like Bulma is just more of she always has like she always has a role in the stories. Like if you look at all the arcs, like she's always involved. Like she's always at a tournament, going over
Hmm.
to watch it. Uh, she creates shit for the plot to move forward. I think that that's kind of my analysis of her, is that the only reason that they always write her in is because she has like she'll create something or she'll do something to like move the plot forward,
Hmm.
which I would like her to be. I don't know. To me, like in my personal opinion, she is a side character, but I would like to see be like something else to be done with her, because she's done that role so many times where like the guys get in trouble and then like now they have to go to her to like build a time machine, or like she's gonna go and like build like a capsule that's gonna like give Goku like a hyperbolic time chamber or something like
Right.
that like fits in the capsule, like and that will move the plot forward. But I would like her to be involved in something else, like that just a little bit more high stakes. And you saw that in
Hmm.
the films, in the earlier films, where like somebody would like take her hostage or do something,
And
like
and
along the
and
lines of that.
for sure.
Uh,
In Dragon Ball Evolution.
there you go.
Come
There
on,
you go.
bro. You
Dragon Ball
saw her.
Evolution.
Come
I
on.
just saw a review about that movie. I just saw a review about that movie.
Oh, you did?
They were a lot more menacing and harsh than we were.
For
Uh,
reals?
but Bulma was, again, according to their review, it was there, she was one of the shining stars of it. But like I think but in the Dead Zone, I think, or whichever one, they like took her hostage and something. So I kind of like her, not necessarily be the damsel in distress, but I would like her to be somewhere along those lines where
Hmm.
something kind of big happens to her, and then like the guys have to like figure it out without her,
Right.
uh,
Oh, that was in The World's Strongest.
yeah,
Yeah.
where they like, had like yeah, where that sick ass guy,
What
Dr.
what was the robot's name? Fuck.
Dr. Wheelo.
Yeah, dude. Like he wanted Goku's body, but then he's destroying Goku. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, you're stronger than him. Um,
So that would be my only, like, I think, knock on Bulma, at least to me.
yeah. Nah, I mean, with her, it does feel like she's integral to the series. Like if she died, it would be big, I think, right? Like
Hmm.
it'd be like, oh shit. Um, but to your point, I also wish she could be used a little bit more. And me, the way I would do it, the way I kind of envision it is she is the in Goku and Vegeta's ear while they're going out to do a mission, and she has like that tech savvy approach where she can break into databases, she can break into different chains. Like she's so intelligent that
Hmm.
they can use her brains to get to places and access certain data or certain locations that they otherwise couldn't. She, like you said, she created the hyperbolic time chamber. She created the I don't know if it was her or her dad that created the Dragon Ball radar. Um She created the time
Did
machine.
she, like also make the thing for Broly, like at the end of the Broly Super movie? Didn't
Yeah,
she like didn't
his
like Goku
house.
would like say
Right.
like, yeah, like Bulma made this for you or some shit?
Yeah,
Like,
but like that's the extent of it, like she'll make something and then she's out. And so it'd be cool if for a certain series, because she can't fight obviously because the power level is just it's exceeded her so much that she wouldn't be an asset out in the battlefield in terms of physical combat.
hmm.
But if she's like the brains of an operation, um I think that would be cool. I think that'd be a cool way to, uh, you know, have her influence the plot more and feel her presence more. And another way is like helping Goku and Vegeta achieve new levels of power through science, like her
Hmm.
coming up with some type of Saiyan DNA, that's mutated and it runs a high risk of like doing something. So something like that where she's really putting her brains to work and you really feel it throughout the show,
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, sounds cool. Hmm.
yeah, but
Yeah,
she
it just engaged her in a different way that doesn't involve her doing the same shit because it's always the same stuff, you know.
yeah, it's very yeah, exactly. And
Very
like
formulaic with her.
it is and like she doesn't have that same impact that a Hercule and a Yajirobe do, where yeah, like and there you could argue less important than Bulma.
They are.
But but they leave like a lasting impression.
Hmm.
At least to us, like they're funny, they're entertaining, and they have their role in the series. Um
Hmm.
uh but then there are these other like side characters, right? Like Oolong, dude. I
That's the
mean,
boy. That's the boy.
that's another survivor right there, dude. That man's gonna
Yeah,
do whatever.
but he's different though, because he actually, as we saw in Lord Slug, he tried his battle out there. He was out there in
He
the
was he
battlefield, you
was
know, and
when
he
they
got stomped out,
he
but
oh
he
he
went
did
out there.
he got yeah, exactly. There was a stampede running over him, but he survived, right? Like he's I wish they would integrate like play like give him more screen time because he literally is different than he's a pig, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Like he's actually different than everyone else. I don't know why people don't question that. Like
Yeah, that
everyone
he's a
there,
pig.
yeah, like everyone at the table looks like a human, and then you have a pig that's dressed up, but he's cool. Like he's funny, I feel like his comedic relief it works pretty well. It's scarce, but when he's involved, it's pretty funny. Like
But it's
you can
because he's
appreciate
just
it.
fearless. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I like about Oolong is that he's fearless. Like he'll be like, "Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. Let's
Yeah,
go." No, he doesn't like try to back out or act like it. He's just like, "Let's just go." And it's funny because everyone is at like such a ridiculous level that he's like, "Yeah, but I can go out there.
yeah,
I
like
can
he
go.
has no
I can go
place.
take care of that. And I can go. I can go. Okay, just give me that. You know, just give me that guy, and I got him."
Yeah,
But he can't. He doesn't even got that guy.
yeah. He's got no
And
place
that's
in
the
the
big
team,
problem.
but
He
he
has no
goes.
place. No, but he goes out there, you know, and he tries his best. But
Yeah.
because even in the later films, in the Battle of Gods, I mean, he had a role. He's the one that went to go play rock paper scissors, if I'm not mistaken. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. I got it."
Yeah. No, yeah, he's never one that lacks confidence, that's for sure. And yeah, his he's kind of sprinkled in, you don't really see him a lot. But when you do, it's refreshing and it's pretty cool. Um, so uh, I mean, there's another one. Obviously, he was a huge character, especially in Dragon Ball. He's had a huge impact on Goku. Uh, and obviously he's Master Roshi, right? Um, he's
He's a
now
controversial. He's a controversial side character.
yeah, and so he's a side character now. But and dude, there's a bunch of side characters. We're not gonna be able to get to all of them, like the whole
Yeah.
launch and all. Like we're not gonna be able to get to all of them. But
No.
um, Roshi, how do you kind of view him? Like, how do you
I
give
think,
give it to
yeah,
me?
out of the ones that we see the most, I would say, and this may be a controversial take. I don't know if people would take it as a controversial take, but at least to me, it feels like it because I'm not really a Roshi fan. I really don't like him, so I'm like I would be okay if he's not in the show. Like his comedy to me misses. I don't
Yeah,
think that like perviness of like women's bodies is that funny, and I don't know if like that's I know that that's like the joke with him, but like I don't know. To me, it just seems really lazy. Like if the way they kind of make this older man, I think it's fine that he's like a teacher and that's cool, but like I wish that they would get away from that type of comedy with him and just maybe transition into some other type of comedy because it's to me it just gets kind of boring and it's just lazy like to
yeah.
me. So
It
he
gets,
adds nothing to the
yeah.
show in my
It gets
opinion
repetitive.
at this point now because it's like dog, why should I respect you, dog? Like you, the only shit you taught was Kamehameha, and then they're gods now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is Roshi doing out there?
Like, why did they take him to the tournament of power? You know,
Exactly. What's
right?
he
So
doing out there?
this is another one of. I mean, at the very least, Krillin, he he knew his role, right?
Yeah.
Uh, he was he got eliminated very early, right?
Yeah. The
Um,
first one.
all right, first one, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Krillin
it's all right.
has his
We're not
limitations.
expecting Krillin to take us
Yeah,
to the end.
we didn't think he was gonna take gold,
Yeah.
um, but he he was that cheerleader. He played it really well, and I'm sure at one point in those stands, in those bleachers, he reflected. There was a moment there where he said, "You know what? This is where I belong. I don't I don't I don't belong over there anymore." Like,
I don't need to be out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it dawns on you when you see Goku turn Ultra Instinct or Vegeta turns like that blue evolution, and you're like, yeah, okay, I don't have a transformation.
I
Like,
don't
I'm
have a
out here.
transformation.
I'm just naked, right? So
Yeah.
uh Roshi, like, um he had his time in Dragon Ball, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do think like they could do something cool where he did mean a lot to Goku growing up
Mm-hmm.
because obviously Goku, he lost his grandpa when he was young, and he doesn't know his parents, he doesn't know his family. So I do think if they were to send him off, like, where it kind of rocks Goku,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that would be a cool way to do it. But it's like, dude, Roshi, like, bro, I mean, y- you got one move, bro. Like, you got the Kamehameha, and like, that's not finishing people off anymore. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like,
It's not. I don't
um,
even remember like anybody getting killed by that thing anymore.
nah, dude. Yeah, exactly. So, uh, that's Roshi. I did want to talk about one more because I felt
I
like,
don't understand where last thing on Roshi is like I know that in the later iterations he like gets buff like as a transformation. Like
yeah, right.
when did that become a
That was
thing?
always his thing, dude. Like,
That was always his thing. Oh,
in
okay.
Dragon Ball, yeah, he would just get yoked. Like,
Oh, okay.
you get, which it worked back then, but now it's like, dude, like, you don't have to be crazy. Look at Frieza. He's not exactly this massive individual, but he causes damage. Um, there there are a bunch of side characters. But we're not gonna be able to get to all of them. The one I wanted to talk about, maybe one or two more, and then ask you like how you feel as a whole. Side characters are, one, done in Dragon Ball,
Mm-hmm.
what they should offer, and
Mm-hmm.
then like if Dragon Ball is doing that well, right? But the other one I want to talk about, dude, who's like, he's fallen off the radar also, dude, is Tien. All right.
Oh,
T-
okay. That's a yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't expect that one.
yeah, and
Uh-huh.
I feel like Tien is kind of cool, dude. Like, he has some cool stuff. He has a unique fighting style.
Mm-hmm.
Chaozu is super forgettable, but uh Tien, man, like, I feel like there's something there
Mm-hmm.
that could make him I don't know. I could see him having value in the series. I don't know how you feel about him.
I I don't know. I feel like he could. I really like his new design. So I think his design, he looks a lot cooler in my opinion. Uh he to me gives me the most like manga vibe, like as a character that you would see on another like
Or in another
I can
series,
see
yeah, manga.
Tien having his own like show if he wanted to. Like and I think people would probably like it because he's kind of like a mysterious character. And you're right, he is a different type of. He looks different. He has three eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
he has the tri beam, and
Mm-hmm.
he
Tri-beam
has like a
cannon, yeah.
cool like swag to him. I just think that in Dragon Ball, because the level of fighting is such a ridiculous level, like
Yeah. Shit.
it's
Yeah.
just like he's just like he's kind of forgotten just because he doesn't have the next level. It's the same thing with Piccolo that I said last time. I'm like, Piccolo needs NT, and they need like a second form. They need like a third form. They need another transformation for them to like. It's not enough to give Tien new clothes.
No, right. No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is this not enough? And they need to do something else with him that, like, I don't know, gives him a fourth eye, or I don't know, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, they need to elevate his like levels for him to have a reason to be out there. Because as of right now, he doesn't have a reason to be out there. Like he's just below the curve, and
Right.
that's not a knock on him. I think that's just that they don't know how to keep him relevant.
Relevant. Yeah. And
Because you're right. Like I think he's a mysterious character. He has a lot going for him in regards to the way he looks. I think he looks cool, and then
yep.
he has a cool fighting style. I had tried the tri beam. To me is one of the coolest looking
Yeah,
moves.
it looks tight. And I mean also I believe I may be wrong on this, but I think he created the solar flare.
Mm-hmm.
Um uh and I mean, let's not forget some of the plays this man made back when he was a little more relevant. This
Mm-hmm.
man spent like an entire day doing the tri-beam cannon on Cell because it kept pushing Cell like lower and lower, deeper and deeper into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So that was his way of keeping Cell down there, right? He just kept tri-beaming him, tri-beaming him, tri-beaming
Mm-hmm.
him from a cliff. And like the stamina on that, man, he went the entire day just doing it because he was like, dude, if I let off, I'm dead. That's plain
Yeah.
and simple. And so uh he's got the desire, he's got the will to be a valuable asset on this team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's a team player. I think when I think about him, he's a team player. And if they were to give him something to do, he'll do it, and he'll do it cool. Like I think about, because I'm thinking about like when did I see him in the films? And the only thing that I can really remember is in the Frieza film where they're fighting the goons and stuff, and like
Yeah.
his montage of fighting is like the only one that I liked. When he
Mhm.
did the tri beam in the cave, and it looked
Yeah,
cool.
it's
Like
it's
he's
unique, dude. Like he does
it's
have a
unique. So it'd be cool to have like a side story for him, or a side like quest for him that kind of just but keeps him at his level. Like
yeah.
don't he shouldn't be going up against like the freaking you know Jirans of the world, or even
Nah.
the Galactic Four. Like they shouldn't even be like in the same conversation. He should be
Yeah.
handling the Dorias of the world.
Yeah,
Like
that's his speed right there.
that's his
Um,
speed.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of side characters, and we can't get through all of them. But the side characters, right? It's kind of you you don't notice them as much, as at least, so you do notice them, but they're not the focal point of the series. So you're not going to turn on Dragon Ball or whatever show you watch to be like, I can't wait to see that side character, Yajirobe, whatever. Like
Yeah.
most people are going to want to see Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan. Um, but how do you feel like side characters should be handled, and what is like the extent of their role?
Uh, we also forgot Jaco, who I wanted to talk about too.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
that's the boy right there. we're just really briefly on him. I mean, he made just one appearance, and I want to see more of him. In the films, he made
You're
one
right, dude.
appearance,
I can't believe I forgot about him.
and that's the boy. And it's just because he's a new character that they've introduced, and maybe this will be a good segue into like what side characters should be. I would say that Jacob's a good example of how to introduce a good side character, and that the side character has their own personality. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Like the personality should be something that is different from it offers an offset to the cast, right? So like when I think about a side character like the Yajirobis, the Jacos, the
Hercule.
Oolongs, like the Hercules, they have their own personality, and they don't necessarily move the plot, but to me what their purpose is one, they change the mood of a scene.
Yeah.
They have the ability to change the mood of a scene, whether that will be like to throw in a joke, whether that'll be to be the one that adds like some internal dialogue about, like, because if you think about it, they're like the only ones that ever get like internal dialogue that like adds like something that we're feeling as like the ones that are watching the show, right? Like and I think when you think about a side character, like that's what they should do. Like my best example to that would be like, I don't know if you've seen Get Out. Have you seen Get Out, the movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A few. I don't remember it too well, but yes, I've watched it.
That movie, I mean, that movie's really good. So, but and this is just an example of what I think a side character should be. His friend, if you remember in that
Yeah,
film,
he was
his
funny.
friend, the in the directors talked about this of like what was his intention behind writing that character like that, and it was the main purpose of that character was to be the voice of the people watching the film. And
Yeah.
that's why the dude would be like, he didn't like, because in films and just in even shows, like there's like the wall, right? Like there's like the fourth wall, I think they call, where like it's a wall that they don't necessarily acknowledge all the time, where like it's like, yeah, this shit is ridiculous, dog, that Goku is blue now, and that fucking, and that he's like, he's red, and that Vegeta's watching all this stuff, and like, what the fuck is happening, right? Like,
Right.
and if you don't acknowledge, like, I mean, we don't acknowledge it all the time, right? We're just like, yeah, he just turned God. But
Right.
like what side characters to me, and in the Get Out example, is like you would see that in like a Yajirobe would be like, what the fuck am I doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like because it's so ridiculous,
Right.
that this is happening in front of you, that a
Right.
side character should be the voice of the people watching the show. And I think that when I think about all my favorite side characters, like that's what they do well. Like Hercule exemplifies a part of us that is like, yeah, we would all like to think that we would go out there and fight.
Yeah. Right.
We
Well,
would
we
all like to
know.
think that,
Yeah.
but Hercule is actually in the position, and he acts upon the fact that like he knows that he won't add nothing, so
Right.
he will go to a great length to like conceal the fact that all that, and at the same time he plays a vital role in regards to keeping that part of the world, and the reason that the world is safe. He is one of the main reasons that that secret is safe,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because he can keep the facade going, and he'll
Right.
take that, he's taking on that pressure. So to me, like that's what a side character should be. It should be the voice of the people watching the show.
That's cool. That was a little movie critic 101 type of thing right there. I didn't know about that. I thought that was pretty cool when you explained the director talking about the Get Out piece, and his the main character's friend, the protagonist's friend in the
Look,
movie.
I would suggest if you want to pay attention to that, is like go back and watch that film and just pay attention to that side character, his best friend's lines. All of the lines are like they're breaking the wall. Like,
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Get out of there, dog! What? You're not seeing that all these black folks are getting killed by white people? Get out of there! What you doing? That girl's gonna get you killed. Like that white girl's gonna get you killed." And like that's what we're all watching the film of, like, dog, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't go to this house. And the dude is telling him, nah, dog, don't go to this house. And it's a different way to engage a side character, because most of the times in films, they'll just keep going of like, oh yeah, dude, okay, cool, man. I'll see you next weekend, but not
Yeah.
his friend. His friend was like, nah, dog, don't go. Have you looked into them? You know what I'm saying? Like, And to me, like that is what I like about the certain side characters that we've talked about, is that they kind of break that fourth wall, you know.
Right.
And it may not be directly talking to us, but like they expose a part of us that we're watching that maybe we may not want to acknowledge. But it's like, yeah, you know, the shit is
Uh,
crazy.
and yeah, I think that's actually really cool. I think that's a good point. I never thought about it like that, where they should be um like our lens or our quote unquote like our voice in the series. Like they should kind of exude our represent our thought process. Um, because like then you know the main characters, they're not very relatable, just because,
No, they're not.
and that's part of the reason why people like them, is
Mm-hmm.
because they're up here, you know, they're far removed from what an ordinary folk would be. uh and yeah, that's really cool. I had never thought about that, and I didn't know like that's an actual strategy that's used in movie writing, you know. And I think you kind of eloquently put it, so I think that's something that actually I'll probably start looking for now in movies and stuff when
Yeah,
I
well, that's the thing, right? It's like when it's really good writing, you can see the director's intentions with like the way they write a certain character, you know. So like, and that's why like I look at like just different characters like throughout this piece that we just talked about, like Oolong, like he's displaying this like real emotion that maybe we're sitting there as children, like, yeah, I'd love to go out there, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd love to go out there and fight,
oh,
you know,
for
like
sure.
put me out there, coach.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then you
yeah,
get
yeah.
trampled. Then you get trampled, and then you're just like, you know,
Reality sits in. Yeah,
reality sets
that's
in. So they play a vital role, and I think the problem is when we forget about the importance of side characters, which Dragon Ball has done, uh, you know, for a while in certain cases, you know. But I like the fact that there's Jaco, and Jaco keeps coming up, and I like the way that they're kind of writing him, because he's a unique character, and he is and he has his own fighting style, which I loved in that movie, which is one of the few things that I did like about
he
the
had
movie
so
was that,
much. He had so much swag when he was fighting, and he
you
was
know,
just
he
little, and he did a little dance and stuff.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, like, and he has that like charisma, and he has like that
Yeah,
flamboyancy about him that I think is really cool. Um, and I hope that they keep putting him in, you know, because that's what the show needs. It needs a little bit of a break where it's not like a lazy joke like the Beerus jokes that they have, which is I think a Beerus is what you don't want a side character to be. Too involved and not pushing anything along. He just kind of there as a almost like an emergency button. You know, him and
mhm,
Weiss are kind of an emergency button. But I guess we'll get into that another episode. But like, they might have their own episode, I think. But
right.
like, yeah, I think I mean it's a long-winded explanation, but when I think about a side character, that's what I would like to see. You know, the voice of the viewers.
Yeah, and yeah, and no, that was really well said. I kind of like me thinking about it. I think that the side character should, in the same vein of what you said, um, should kind of exemplify a particular trait or feeling that the average person or the viewer has. So, like, for instance, Yajirobe. Yajirobe, he exudes this confidence, and we all, part of us, at some one point or another, we do feel confident,
Mm-hmm.
but and we feel like, you know, uh, I don't know, like we in us, we do feel it, but then there's a point where reality sets in and you're not the dude you thought you were, you
Mm-hmm.
know. um Hercule, he's very much like, he while he does like keep up this farce, which a lot of people do in just
Mm-hmm.
everyday life, you know.
Yeah.
um he also has, he's riddled with fear, you know, and fear of two things: the actual thing that he would have to confront, whether it's Majin Buu, whether it's Cell, and the fear of him being outed, the fear of people finding out.
Which I think is bigger than than the other
Right. Because that's a ridiculous pressure, dude. And the fact that he sleeps at night, like knowing that dude, that's crazy pressure. But there is like that makes them relatable, and that's what I like in these side characters. They have that comedic, they're limited in their ability, which automatically makes them a little more relatable. But then their personalities are so unique. It's not just bland like a Roshi, like a Yamcha, where like they don't really. I mean, I don't think you should be relating to Roshi. You know what I'm saying? If you're relating to Roshi, you got issues.
Yeah, you got issues. They're just there because of the name. They're just there because they're old. They're part of the old school, which is fine. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're relevant. They're just kind of there just because they gotta be there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I feel like the side characters should be used. Now, you touched on it a little bit. You feel like they don't do a good job of really giving light to side characters. My only question to you is, how much can a side character be like featured before he becomes or she becomes a main character? You know what I'm saying? Like that balance of this is a side character, but now Hercule's getting more screen time than Goku or Vegeta, right? Like that's that.
Well, if Hercule's doing if he's entertaining us, then I don't see why we have to force Goku. If anything, that would help Goku because he has a stronger supporting cast that doesn't have to always have him be the one in front of the screen.
Right.
But because of the way the show's going in right now, like they need Goku and Vegeta to be on the screen. Like they need to have them on there because everybody else is kind of weak around them.
Exactly. Well,
so it hurts them when they don't put effort. Or not. I don't want to say effort, but I might be a little harsh. But they don't put emphasis on other side characters and like what's going on with them. And that's not to say that they need to like dedicate like this whole other stuff, but when they did it like the way they did it in Super, it just comes off really lazy, where it's just like, oh, cool, 17's like on his own planet and he's just trying to save elephants and like, and it's just one episode or whatever. I think it was 2 episodes, and like that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like like give us that throughout. Give us that throughout, and like keep him within that. Like that's not to say that like they need to flesh out a whole thing, but like I look at those 2 episodes and like you could have just given us like 2 minutes each like episode, like like a little side thing about what's going on with him, and that would have been fine. It would have culminated into the meeting. But yeah, I think I mean they kind of forget about them, but it also makes sense just because of where the series is at right now.
I think that's they've kind of this has been an issue of them focusing too much on Goku and Vegeta and not anyone else. And because the side characters are so far down the totem pole that, like you said, if Goku and Vegeta aren't in every episode, it feels like unentertaining, like or unengaging. And so
it's considered a filler episode, right? It's
like, exactly. It's a filler episode.
And it shouldn't be that way. That's not to say that, in anime, you're going to have episodes that are just, they don't move anything. And
they're filler for sure.
That's okay. But I think the more strategically you use those fillers, the more I think you can like, keep it going. Like another example of somebody else that like has potential as well is the 2 folks that are with Broly in the last film. Like those 2 folks. Like that's another example of like another well-written, I think, side character where they're like this empathetic like duo that really see something in Broly, and I think again play the voice of us of like, don't you see you're being like
manipulated
mistreated,
and used.
you
Yeah.
know, like you don't see that in
Chile.
Chile. There you go.
Yep.
So they have pieces there, and I think that's what sometimes it's tough about
And
Dragon Ball is that
Lemo.
they have pieces, they have good players, and
Yeah.
they're just not necessarily maximizing them. They're just kind of just letting their two stars kind of carry them, and uh,
And
that may
it
take
can get old.
somewhere, but yeah, it can get old, and you might want to give your other players a chance at maybe not necessarily taking a shot, but
Right.
shit, pass them the ball, man.
Yeah.
It
Right.
just kind of feels like like that game plan of like at least in soccer or even any other well maybe basketball, but like like that guy like the star or like that woman that's like the star, like everybody just like the game plan is just force it to that person.
Yeah.
Even
And I think we're gonna get, if they keep going this way, we're gonna get one of those Fresh Prince of Bel Air moments. I don't know if you remember
yeah,
where they're like,
exactly.
all right, get the ball to Will, right? And
That's
then
all the whole thing. Yep.
the whole thing, like he just shooting, 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 shooting. And then out of nowhere, like the last play of the game, Carlton steals it from from Will, and he throws it up on the buzzer beater, and it hits the scoreboard. It shit didn't even hit the backboard. Um, but uh, yeah, no, I think the movie, the Dragon Ball Super movie, has been promising, and I think, like you said, the introduction of Jocko is really cool. He's awesome. And I think Lemo and Chile, I googled them. I also forgot their name. Uh, I'm interested to
Yeah,
see
potential.
how they
Yeah,
get used.
potential.
So
Mhm.
I think like these new like also they got to trim some of the fat. We're gonna wrap this up, but they got to trim some of the fat. Some of these old characters, dude, we got to figure out what it is we got to do with them. Like either they
Yeah.
retire, they decide to start their own life away from the violence, totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
um and we kind of we clean it up where we got characters that aren't just there for the sake of being there, and then it
Mm-hmm.
makes the characters feel more relevant, like they feel vital. um but yeah, that was cool, dude. Honestly, I didn't think, I was like, I don't know how we're gonna be able to talk about side characters for a whole episode, but we were able to
But
do
here we are.
we were able to do it.
Here we are.
um but yeah, no, this was cool. It was fun. Again, everyone, thank you for listening. You can if you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. um Next week we might do something a little different, you know.
Yeah.
um it's gonna be a little more of a nostalgic video episode, so
Yeah, I mean,
stay tuned.
I think we can tell them, dog. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So
think it's like
we,
gonna be some big surprise, but
right. Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, next episode we are going to talk about Dragon Ball Legends. The first year anniversary is coming up, and they're having the reveals and stuff video on Saturday, so it'll be perfect timing for us to kind of talk about it. So that's going to be cool, you know. Go in. It's been a year since not a year, but it's been a few months since we last spoke about
we're almost a year though. Quick note is like we're almost a year into the podcast, and then also
okay,
got some
see, so
updates on the numbers of listeners. So I'll do that after you do this piece.
okay, so um yeah, no, next episode should be very exciting. Again, everyone, thank you for listening. I'm gonna hand it over to the boy Chiwin. He wanted to close it out with a little something.
Yeah, man. So, want to thank you again to everybody that listens to us every week. We may not know who you are because, we're not as active on social media as probably as we should be. But the fact that
Facts.
we just got to, 2,000 listens, um, it's and it made again, it's not like we're fucking like Joe Rogan numbers, we're
Right.
not doing that, but like as a podcast that's really small
And
and
it's a niche topic that
it's a
we
niche topic, and we just kind of sit every week and we just talk about like how you just said, right, of like an hour of like side characters, and we really like the anime, and it's a childhood thing, and I mean I think I can say for both of us that we just really want to thank you for another milestone,
Mhm.
2000, and uh when we started, I don't think that was necessarily like, at least I didn't particularly see it, and it just feels really nice to feel like, you all are listening every week, and it feels an honor that you all choose us to listen to about this ridiculous anime sometimes, but
Right.
that is a part of our childhood for many of us,
Hmm.
so thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when you think about like 2000 listens, it's like, I mean, 100 listens feels like a lot. I don't even know like if I've listened to 2000 episodes of a podcast, um, or of podcasts. So that's really cool. No, I mean, you said it all very well. Thank you to everyone. We're going to continue and, hopefully, you guys can continue to grow with us and we're excited, it's fun. I enjoy it, and so, yeah, man, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and sign off, but you guys know the deal. We got social media down in the description of our YouTube video. You can listen to us on all the podcast platforms. And yeah, we'll be back next week, but until then, stay safe.